So if you're enjoying Chewing on Pearls and you wish there was more to chew on, we have a surprise for you.
We have decided to make a collaborative playlist that is a companion to the podcast called Chew on That.
And it's a sampling of songs built from Tom and I's on repeat playlists.
Yeah.
So this is a real time what we are listening to while we are thinking, writing, and talking about Gaga.
Yeah, we both listen to Gaga a ton. So like at least a handful of her songs will always be in our on repeat. We each chose 2 of her songs to be on this playlist, as well as Disease, her latest single, and have like strategically placed the songs from our on repeats to like provide new context to tracks we've been listening to for a while.
So check it out.
Check it out. Chew on that.
The music and the performance and the fashion are one. I don't separate my art from my life. It is one whole thing.
Hey, Patrick.
Hey, Tom.
I'm Tom.
And I'm Patrick. And this is Chewing on Pearls, the show where we dissect and decipher Lady Gaga's chameleonic career and its impact, one pearl at a time.
So we're back.
We are indeed back.
We celebrated Thanksgiving with a very special episode. Listen to it if you haven't yet.
And we're still feeling festive.
Yeah.
And, you know, a lot was going on in November 2011 for Miss Ga.
Yeah.
And we're back to talk about another silly seasonal moment.
Absolutely.
Which is Gaga's workshop.
Yes. Will you perhaps explain to me what Gaga's workshop was?
I would love to.
Thank you.
On November 22nd, 2011, Barney's New York unveiled Gaga's workshop, transforming the entire 5,500 square foot men's division on the 5th floor of the flagship Madison Avenue store. A take on Santa's iconic workshop, the project was realized through the eyes of Lady Gaga, Nicola Formichetti, and Eli Sudbrack and Christoph Hamid Pearson of the collective Assume Vivid Astrofocus, referred to as AVAF, in collaboration with Barney's creative director, Dennis Friedman. In true Lady Gaga fashion, Gaga's workshop was not a traditional holiday destination, but rather a unique and individual celebration of the universality of gift-giving and charity during the holiday season, with 25% of sales donated to the Born This Way Foundation for Youth Empowerment. A multifaceted celebration, Gaga's workshop included a fantastical retail environment, Gaga's take on the iconic Madison Avenue holiday windows, an interactive website, and limited edition exclusive products.
Thank you. When you brought up that we should do this for our Christmas episode, shamefully, like I was like, light bulb, that's genius. But I was also like, I have not thought about this in a while. Yeah, it's one of those things that I just feel like gets written over in the history of Gaga.
Well, because it's funny that I was thinking about it too when I was doing some research, which, by the way, I got a lot of my information and initial jumping off points from Gagapedia, the fan resource. So shout out to all the little monsters that keep that up to date. Yeah, I was thinking about like, this feels like we talked a lot about the Thanksgiving special and how it was an unpretentious traditional take on a holiday experience. This is probably the most pretentious, like Barney's New York exclusive for the holidays and charity. Everything is like insanely curated and designed and very expensive, very luxe, very fashion, very art. It's all about the intersection of technology, fashion design, art, Gaga being like, I hobnob with the upper crust, and a lot of like the technologies used during Gaga's workshop were kind of like cutting edge at the time. So it's like a major flex for her.
An early example of her starting to bridge that gap into that like kind of other world beyond just like pop star, pop musician, but into that, like you said, charity, hobnobby, New York elite kind of world.
Big time.
not derogatory necessarily, but just something that she was like working toward at the time. And I do remember as a kid being excited when it was announced and then realizing like how expensive the things were and just kind of like checking out of the story, like loving looking at the visuals, of course, tuning in when she did the grand opening, but kind of like, well, when's the next music video though? Like,
right. Totally.
Yeah. It didn't feel like a part of like the Born This Way era. I was like very in it for the music and the visuals and all that. This felt like separate, but looking back as we will, I feel like it's more integrated into that kind of ethos than I realized at the time.
Yeah, it totally is. It really is through a Born This Way lens point of view. Like you can tell that this is happening and like was planned and created. I feel like they said when I was doing some research that like early discussions were happening in like June. For this.
Yeah. So like after the album came out.
Yeah. So you can tell that like over the course of the planning for this, there's a lot of Born This Way ideas and themes and images and concepts that we'll talk about.
So where should we begin?
Yeah, so I thought we would break down the Gaga's workshop experience into a couple subcategories. So we're going to talk about the window displays. We're going to talk about the general design of the experience. We'll talk about the interactive website. We'll talk about the collection, so the things that were available and designed exclusively for Gaga's workshop. And then we'll talk about the opening.
Amazing. Gaga's vision for the Madison Avenue windows was to create individual, magical environments inspired by the intersection of music, art, fashion, and technology, her famous 4 tenets, you know. Formichetti and Friedman oversaw the design of 4 window displays: Gaga Constellation, Gaga Machine, Gaga's Boudoir, and Gaga's Crystal Cave, each referencing images and themes explored on the album Born This Way.
Kicking it off, we have Gaga's Constellation. So this was a tweet-powered installation designed with New York digital agency The Science Project. The experience began with a film of CG constellations morphing into the form of Lady Gaga before bursting into interstellar unicorns against a nebula-filled starscape.
That sentence, it's like, yeah, of course.
Like, yeah,
it's
duh.
It's like, what?
It's like mystical alien star being explodes into unicorns.
Okay. Computer.
Computer.
Like
computer
so
boots. Yeah. Passerby were then prompted to tweet their holiday wishes.
Yeah.
Because if anything says holidays, it's a giant Lady Gaga figure bursting into unicorns.
People standing in front of a window of like a huge
department store
on their cell phones.
Passerby were then prompted to tweet their holiday wishes by using the hashtag GagaStars, with selected tweets appearing on screen in custom constellation typeface. Of the display, the Science Project's chief of strategy, Jerby Bergstein, said, "Each tweet is a little love letter to New York, to Lady Gaga, to the holidays, and the revelry and hope that they represent."
So this first window was essentially just like a giant screen showing this like
I included a little link to the video if you want to watch it.
Shall we?
I'll watch you watch it.
And we'll include this on some of it on our Instagram, of course. So essentially it starts with this kind of like 3D head, and then as it progresses, we get more of the body and the bust and then the legs, and it's all this like faceted, spiked, jeweled persona in sunglasses, obviously alluding to Lady Gaga. But it's like the camera, for lack of a better word, or like the view like pans over the textures of her ensemble, if you will.
Yeah, and it's, like you said, it's this like sculptural, spiked art, technology, space, alien.
Totally.
Like all the shapes, but also the fantasy and magic of like Born This Way.
Yeah, it's interesting that it was quote unquote tweet powered. Like that phrase is funny to me because it's like, it's not like tweet powered. Like this image is not being generated by the tweets. Rather, the tweets are like featured.
Yeah, no, totally. It's like, this is a film that they made, and then it like plays, and then it's like, tweet your wishes, and then they like show up on the window.
Right.
And this like plays on loop.
Right. So this is like the computer technology window.
But thinking back, I had to like remind myself that like 2011, this is when people were using Twitter for like fleeting thoughts and like the
Totally.
idea of like going somewhere and tweeting something and seeing it show up. Like
Yeah.
people weren't so precious about like curating a Twitter presence or whatever. Like people were just tweeting to tweet.
Right.
So I
right.
get the novelty and like this is
Yeah.
it being like interactive for people that like maybe can't experience
Right.
Gaga's workshop
right.
to the fullest.
Right. Or even like fans who aren't in New York or in the US being able to tweet with that hashtag.
Right. Well, and then like when I was doing research and like looking at some of like the images from like the opening and like the tweets that were featured, it was like, one day I hope to be brave enough to come out to my family. Happy holidays.
Yeah,
Like
like,
things like that.
they
So
were,
like
like, choosing
putting
the-
myself
yeah.
back in like 2011 and like being like a baby gay, like totally.
Totally, absolutely. Like that's what it's for. So the second window then was Gaga Machine, which featured Lady Gaga as a machine. In this case, another take on the iconic Gaga motorcycle hybrid, which is featured on the cover of Born This Way. However, this sculpture is more of a sleek, modernistic take on that concept, featuring Gaga's head kind of in a conical hairstyle, which she adopted over time in the Born This Way era. This is interesting. It's like totally Gaga and totally not, which I kind of love.
Yeah. I think this is like, you can see the Barney's influence where it's like, it's very mannequin, it's
Totally.
very croaky, it's very fashion. But I think what I love that updo shape. And I feel like it's a shape that like her and Nicola were really into, like Marry the Night music
Totally.
video, kind of that like nymph fairy, Viva Glam campaign, like this,
I mean, even like
the Gayle King interview.
yeah, even as early as the intro film for the Monster Ball on HBO, where she's like in the
Yes.
bodega with the coffee, she kind of has maybe a miniature cone hair situation. It's not as like sculpted.
It goes from like beehive,
Yes.
kind of like retro to like high fashion
Totally.
editorial.
Totally. It's interesting. It's like seeing this concept of the woman motorcycle hybrid through someone else's lens kind of like gives like the original concept more power in a way.
Totally.
Yeah.
Then we move on to Gaga's boudoir. Nicola enlisted Gaga collaborator hairstylist Bob Racine to design a surrealist take on Gaga's own personal boudoir, constructed entirely from hair. The room features many wigs and hairstyles worn by Gaga, such as hair bows and spikes, sculptural braids, updos, and ponytails.
I'll have to say that this is by and large my favorite window. We haven't
It's
gone through all four.
So cute.
I guess I'll describe what I'm seeing. I'm seeing everything is blonde. So it's kind of monochromatic, but there's so much texture between like the braided hair and the spiky hair and the bows and the straight hair that's kind of like acting as a curtain, even like the splayed messy hair around one of the picture frames. Even the mirror has this like braided hair around it. Like I love how much texture there is, but it still feels very like monolithic in a way. I don't know. I just feel like this to me is a department store window. This
Yes.
is like time, craft, hard work, concept. It's really shocking and beautiful.
Yeah. It's gorge. It's definitely identifiable as like Gaga's bedroom. Like
Totally.
people would be like, oh yeah, this is where she like gets ready. What I love about it is it looks like the mirror's wearing a wig, because the only dark wig is like this funny little like updo that's directly on top of the mirror.
Yeah.
So I'm
yeah.
like the mirror itself is wearing a wig.
It almost reads as like purple.
Yeah.
Although it might be black and just have a light on it, but it's just one of those things, like it's a great installation. You know, it's a great installation because your eye just like travels through the whole thing and you see so many new details every time.
Yeah, we'll feature it in the carousel. It's a really cute one.
Yeah, it's a work of art. And then the fourth and final window is Gaga's Crystal Cave, which you might call the most traditionally winter kind of display, featuring an array of spiky crystal icicles, a light show, and a mermaid sculpture, which of course is reminiscent of Gaga's persona, Yu Yi, from the You and I music video.
Yeah, I feel like it's funny as you look at the windows, you can tell like where the budget went. Like
Totally.
they spent all the money on the crazy film and
Yeah.
the hair installation, and
Yeah.
then they like made 2 sculptures
Yes.
and like lit them.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
But they're still like beautiful. And the mermaid sculpture like does look like Yuyi. It has like the short little cropped hair.
Totally.
It's like, if you know, you know.
Yeah. And for the time, this was probably considered edgy for Barney's.
Yeah, and it's a holiday
yes.
Madison Ave
Yes.
window display.
You don't see any Santas. You don't see any like ornaments or Christmas trees. I think now they would do something like this and people might be underwhelmed. But
Totally.
like this then was probably pretty shocking.
It's a lot of real estate to give up.
Totally. So you mentioned in the intro that they took the entire like men's section on the 5th floor to create this like entire spatial experience. What I'm wondering is then no men in New York could buy from Barney's while they were.
Or they gambled and they were like, there are enough gay men in New York that
Yes.
shop at Barney's that won't like this
We'll trick them into
yeah, or it's like it actually like our business might actually be better with the male
right,
demographic.
exactly. Yeah, let's talk through this crazy Willy Wonka ass.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun, and like when we get into the design, there's like a lot that I learned, and I was
Yeah.
like, wow, that's interesting, and it kind of checks out.
Yeah.
So to enter, guests traveled through the scarlet-lipped mouth of a massive monster-like Gaga sculpture enveloping the 60th Street facade. The workshop was divided into 8 mini stores for candy, toys, accessories, collectibles, media, jewelry, and clothing. This is the part that kind of gagged me.
Okay.
So, in an interview with Australian architecture magazine Artichoke, AVAF founder Eli Sudbrack admitted he wasn't a Gaga fan and hadn't seen any of her videos and didn't listen to her music.
Hater.
He was attracted to her penchant for self-expression through dress up.
Interesting.
So I did a little like digging of this collective. It's like a collective. It's just 2 people, but they're kind of known for like raunchy, transgressive. They at the time like were using the T slur a lot, like gay
yeah.
men, like that kind of very like arty, punky.
A little pretentious.
Yes.
Yeah.
And you know, when he was talking about the music, he was like, I listen to dance music. I listen to electronic music, as if Gaga's music isn't dance music or electronic music. He's also based in Brazil. Like it just like a different take.
Yeah.
I'm assuming that Nicola was like kind of the connection here. It was like, this is like a trendy gay person artist that I like know and want to work with. And what got this person on board was Gaga dressing up and like being so committed.
Totally. And like before we get into describing some of these visuals, I'll preface it by saying I think it's clear that they're more inspired by her fashion choices than by like the universe she created with Born This Way. You know what I mean? Like, sure, there's like a mermaid in the window and there's a motorcycle in the window and there's all these wigs, but like truly like the branded visuals that you see on like the t-shirts and stuff that come out of this are definitely about fashion. But it is Barney's.
Yeah, totally. So before we dive into some of these images, I'm just going to give kind of like a summation of the overall design.
Sure.
So for the workshop, AVAF designed large-scale fiberglass-coated polystyrene sculptures that doubled as displays. Choo-choo trains painted in electric Pantone hues, a placid green-faced Gaga as tarantula for the jewelry display, and a blue-coiffed cat-suited Gaga reclining on a floor of mirrored black crystals. This depiction of Gaga, as well as a fashion illustration of a monster paw with exaggerated nails, served as the logos for the experience, plastered on shopping bags and other memorabilia. AVAF cited amusement parks, voguing, contortionists, and depictions of elven sanctuaries as inspiration for the installation, never repeating colors across the artworks and opting for maximum contrast against the psychedelic black and white patterned walls.
Yeah. I mean, I guess we can start there. I mean, every wall, every column is covered in some kind of squiggle or stripe or zigzag in black and white, which kind of just like makes this look pretty crazy. It's like a Sephora on an edible, you know what I mean?
Totally.
But, you know, we're looking at these images of of the space before it was populated with people. I can imagine it crammed with people and it being like pretty disorienting.
Yeah, I would think that it's a kind of like claustrophobic experience because like 5,500 feet in theory sounds like a lot of space, but then think about like a department store and like the structural pillar columns, like how much of that space is actually like
for people.
Yeah,
displaying product, these sculptures. It's like it was probably jam-packed.
These sculptures are massive too.
They're massive. The choo-choo train is fine. It's whatever, right? Like
it serves a purpose.
Yes,
like they gotta put things
Christmas.
on something. So instead of like a shelf, it's
yes, it's Christmas. It's a train, but it doesn't look anything Christmas-like. Just polka dots and colors.
And I mean, one of the most striking things that I learned when I was doing this research is they never repeated colors.
Yeah.
And I was like, that can't be true. And the more that I looked at these images, I was like, wow, yeah, that shade of green is just slightly different.
Right.
That shade of blue is just slightly different.
Right. Like you just said, like against the black and white, it makes it even more like powerful, like the color choices.
Yeah.
It's really, I don't know, impressive, I think.
They remind me of like a Dr. Seuss book.
Yes, I was just going to say that. Even like the red and white striped little like pipe on top of the train looks like Dr. Seuss's hat. But yeah, let's get into these sculptures.
I love the crazy cat suit Gaga interpretation because this is, I think, a successful. We talked about in past episodes when people tried to make a new original Gaga look, like some of the things that they'll take from, they'll try to like dress her as something or like they make a reference, but it's not quite there. This is exactly what she was prancing around in. It's just a different color combination that we haven't seen.
Totally. I think that's what's so successful is that like this exact look has not been seen on her. Like, let's say that, like this exact combination, like you're saying, of like wig and bodysuit and shoe and, you know, whatever. But because each element is so her, it works.
And at that time, she was wearing the Tatianas, the heelless heels. She was wearing these super embellished crystal cat suits with
shoulder pads,
extended shoulder pads. It goes all the way up to her neck. She was wearing teal hair.
Yes. And like even the face of it has a little mole and this like heavy black eyeliner. Like that was like the beauty moment in the Born This Way era.
And I love that the hair makes a little heart above her butt.
Yeah. So
and the
cute.
nails make hearts too.
Yes, this image is like Patrick said, it was used as the logo for a lot of the promotion of Gaga's workshop. So it appears on like the bags that if you bought something, it's like on the paper bags or like it's on t-shirts and it's just so striking, even not in this 3D sculptural form, but as like a 2D illustration and so recognizably Gaga.
Yeah.
Like so good. And then moving on, we get her as a spider. So there's this like giant spider sculpture and then a head on it that closely resembles her kind of fame monster aesthetic, which is this triangle wig and the kind of like fetish cap, except her face is green. And
it looks like she has the Born This Way like cheek prosthetics. Yeah,
she does. So it's kind of this combination of like the fame monster and Born This Way aesthetics here.
Yeah, and
spooky.
Again, it's a successful interpretation of like an original look pulling from identifiable like Gaga visuals.
Totally. It gives me James and the Giant Peach.
Yes, big time.
Yeah.
And even the, like, you can't really see it here, but the back, like, of the spider, the thorax or abdomen or whatever, it kind of has, like, Aladdin Zane Bowie vibes.
Yeah.
With the colors and, like, the lightning bolt-esque demarcation.
Yeah, I just love that this was, like, a Christmas display.
Yeah, and then at the bottom of the legs, you can see, barely in this photo, but you see all the jewelry cases for, like, the fine and costume jewelry that was available. And the jewelry we'll get into, but there was like costume jewelry and then there were like fine designer like collaborations because this is Barney's.
I can imagine the parents taking their little monster children here that like live in New York and around New York and being like, girl, what the fuck?
Well, growing up in Boston, I wanted to go so bad.
I wish you were able to.
Yeah. Well, we'll get into my history with Gaga's
Your
workshop.
experience with Gaga's workshop.
We'll get into it. And then lastly, in terms of like structure and kind of notable things that were built specifically for this, we look at the facade, which again is an interpretation of Gaga as monster. I interpret them as like her legs. If I remember correctly, there's giant shoes on the ends of this photo. So it's like her mouth. She's got triangle black and white hair, or blonde and black hair, big dramatic cat eye makeup, and you walk through her like heart-shaped mouth to get into the store, and then you like go up the escalator to get to Gaga's workshop.
It's like attached to the facade of the building in this way that's like really striking. Like to have seen it in person and like walk past it and understand the scale better. Like we're looking at an image where Gaga is standing in the doorway in her mouth, in the illustration of her mouth, and she's like a small person always wearing heels, and it looks massive.
Yeah.
It's pretty striking. And then in neon above, it says Gaga's Workshop, Barney's New York.
Yeah, and this kind of funky, almost Tim Burton-y, wonky typeface.
Yeah. Tim Burton, Dr. Seuss, Lady Gaga, gay.
Yes,
gay artist.
Definitely gay artist, Brazilian, French, like
Australian vibe. Whatever.
Yeah.
Definitely. It all feels very editorial, but still playful, edgy and dark, still joyous. And I think that's like the essence of Gaga, as we've discussed many times.
So we'll get into the website, which at the time, like, again, going back to like 2011, thinking about microsites and like web-based activations for things. Now every new movie collection, anything in social media has like a new account or website or whatever, but this is still kind of at the beginning of that new social media age. So a New Haven-based digital marketing agency, Digital Surgeons, built the website for Gaga's workshop. It consisted of an online teaser component, the 12 Days of Gaga, and released one collection product each day leading up to the November 21st launch of the full collection and grand opening of the workshop. Visitors to the website had the chance to win prizes through the Gaga machine, which required fans to scour for clues and employed interactive street teams in various cities. Other features included a workshop generator that would transform user-uploaded photos into Gagafied workshoppers and a social media feed of live updates from the in-store experience at Barney's.
Wow. So a little birdie told me that you might have something from the scavenger hunt that you just described.
So the details, and when I was like researching, I was like, yes, totally. I was looking at the website, and unfortunately I couldn't find like a live version of the website. Like it's not active, but I do remember there being like, there was a street team situation where in various cities in the country, they put certain clues or there were certain things that like you had to poke around the website or like her website or tweeted things. And there was like a question of the day or a prompt or something, and X amount of people that got it right.
Yeah.
You had to like submit your information and then you would get a prize. So they were like revealing from the collection each day a thing, and then you would get one of those things. So I was one of the people in like the Boston area that got the prompt right. And in the mail, I got a leather key ring from Gaga's workshop, Barney's New York, a real leather keyring that was yellow leather, and on the inside had one of the like diamond-esque patterns that were created for the displays.
I know exactly which one you're talking about. It's kind of like vaguely Missoni vibes.
Yeah, it's on my keys to this day. It's like totally beat to shit and like does not look yellow, but I have had it ever since and I treasure it.
I mean, that's crazy. That's like,
and the retail price was
those.
Crazy.
Yeah, I can
for
imagine.
Like something that they just like gave for free.
Yeah,
like this is real leather.
Yeah, and like everything was so expensive, like overpriced and everything for this thing. So like for you to get a little free piece of it and to like have been a little fan, a little monster.
Yeah,
online.
and in like 2011, was I really using keys? Not really. Oh no, that's true. I went to boarding school, so I did end up using it. But I mean, it's so special to me that I still have it on my keys today. They're on my apartment keys.
What I love about this, and it kind of ties into the conversation we had about the Gaga constellation window is that they were using technology not just in a way to like connect people globally and get people involved and get people interested, but also to get people to like, I don't know, like physically come out as well. Like, I don't know, it feels like it was more about like building community in like tangible ways beyond the prizes and stuff, but like having to answer a question and having these street teams in different cities and like going to the window to see your tweet. Like, I don't know, like the only comparison I can think of is like Pokemon Go.
Yeah.
Where it's like
this is like a very early idea.
Yeah. Just like, what if, I don't know, what if we were doing digital community organizing that didn't all exist behind a computer screen and had like tangible rewards,
right?
You know,
and then it's like people think it's frivolous because it's Gaga, it's Barney's, it's fashion, and she's like trying to take this thing that, again, it is very much about her.
Yeah,
like it's Gaga's workshop, and her being like, "What are these like free interactive things that my fans can do to like try to make it about the holiday season and charity and giving?" And
it almost feels. Well, yeah, it's important also to note that 25% of the proceeds did go to the Born This Way Foundation.
Which, what's really funny is when I was trying to like dig and find some numbers about that, of course, there's nothing out there about that. Which I believe.
No, yeah, but
but it's like how much money was raised.
The Born This Way Foundation was also in its like very fresh, young infancy at this time. I'm gonna be shady. I guess we're not at the point where we're like discussing and like theorizing, but she was really busy at this time, and I can see her signing off on things and rejecting others, but not necessarily being so involved in the development of like the products and the visuals.
I think this is a great segue into talking about the collection.
Yes, let's do that.
The Barney's New York team enlisted consultant Kitty Nguyen, a former Barney's VP, to create and produce over 250 custom limited edition items for the holiday project. Through interviews with her family and friends, a collection of iconic Gaga imagery was reimagined as playful gifts and collectibles. Items available for purchase range from chocolate poker chips and Alexander McQueen shoes to motorcycle jackets and monster paw-shaped stockings.
So one of the items we're going to talk about is this pearl-encrusted teacup and saucer. Looks like it has these little like gold flakes on it and these little like plastic ants on the teacups, and of course we love pearls here.
Right.
I see how it's in the Gaga universe,
yes,
but I also see how it's not, you know.
Yes, totally. Just like the next thing that I included in this little recap is a box of plush little monsters that are just like generic monster things that are like cute. Like, there's nothing about this that is Lady Gaga.
Yeah, totally. It's like,
but they were like, oh, monsters, great. She calls people that.
Right.
Eleni's cookies dress set. I included this because I thought it was notable that the fashion choices are very distinct.
I have never seen this from the Gaga's workshop. I've never seen this. It's a box of cookies shaped as different outfits.
Yeah, so there was a couple different ones. There was like a dress set. There was like a head set, like busts. There was one that was like shoes. So there were like different versions. Or there were like cookies that had Gaga's face like digitally printed on them that were just like regular Christmas cookies. But why I included this one is there are some notable, like iconic, we've got the meat dress. We've got the flame bra from the Much Music Awards version when she did the rocket tits. We've got like the Hussein Shalem bubble dress. We've got the Brits, like the white tiered dress. Then we have the Armani Grammys dress. That's what that is. The thing with the hoop.
Oh my God, yeah.
And then I believe that's supposed to be the living dress. And then the bottom, this one I was like, what the fuck? It's, you know that event that she did with like the ballerinas performing, and she's like sitting at the pink piano and she has like a pearl on her head. It's almost like a clam. It's like very early. It's like Fame Monster. Anyways, it is a deep cut look.
Yeah.
And they put that in this box
I
of
wonder
cookies.
who the designer of that look is. Like, I wonder if that plays into it where like Barney's wants to align themselves with certain designers, even though the meat dress is, you know.
But I just thought that was interesting.
Yeah, like that is not recognizably Gaga. And some of these are like, I mean, they're cookies, like let's be fucking real, but like you might not know at first glance. Like some of them are very obvious and some of them it's like, that looks like a white oval. You know what I mean?
Like the Armani Grammys one is like,
Yes.
what? And then I was like, oh, that's a hoop. Oh, okay.
Yeah. And then we have a motorcycle ornament, the Gaga motorcycle hybrid from the Born This Way cover as an ornament, which is very much so Lady Gaga imagery. Like this is a recreation of her album cover, Hello. It's very cute. Her hair looks funny in this ornament.
Yeah, she looks a little funky. And then this last one I included for you.
Oh, a spinning egg toy, which is Gaga at the 2011 Grammys, which that look I have tattooed, where she was performing Born This Way in the latex skirt and top and trench coat, where she emerged from the egg. And it looks like it's this kind of toy where you pull a lever and then as it releases, she spins inside the egg.
Yeah, it's cute.
Very cute.
So those were like some of the more accessible things not included in this breakdown. There were like fashion pieces.
Yeah, totally.
Like you could get like a Perfecto motorcycle jacket, which are thousands of dollars.
McQueen shoes.
They were selling, well, I don't think they had McQueen, but they had like Tatianas and stuff. There were actual pieces of fashion. I forget the designer, but like some fashion designer made a whole jewelry collection in like quote, quote, inspired by Gaga's workshop. Like it really ran the gamut.
Yeah. You could also just get like a t-shirt with the logo.
You could get a t-shirt or you could buy Born This Way.
Yeah.
Like there was a whole like media section for like Gaga media. But yes, going back to the idea that like a collection created by Gaga, they phrase it through the eyes of Lady Gaga and the collaborators.
Right.
So it's like, yes, I could definitely see her like backstage on tour. Someone like opens a folder and they're like, these are the items, and her being like, circle X, here you go.
Yeah.
Boom.
I mean, in your description, you also said that like through interviews with friends and family, they like decided on products and like ideas.
A great example of something like that, you could get Roald Dahl books, like really nice leather bound editions of Roald Dahl books that were some of Gaga's favorite stories to read around the holidays.
It's all very interesting. This kind of like merchandising around her has not really been done since, when I'm thinking about it. Like she's like had collaborations with brands, which we're going to talk about in the future, of course. But this kind of like collaboration beyond her merch that she sells through her store, like this is something else. And I feel like
through a place like Barney's.
Yeah. And like not Hot Topic.
Right.
This huge merchandising deal. And like
that's considered fashion.
Right. And I don't feel like a lot of contemporary pop artists have had something like this at this scale. Right. Doing not just the products, but also, you know, taking a risk and rebuilding part of a whole floor and like redoing the windows. And like, it was like very much so about her and about her brand and her image.
It feels very New York.
Yes.
Like very New York. Like she grew up in New York. She knows how important holiday shopping, department store experience. Like it feels like I don't think anyone else could do this.
Yeah, it's interesting. This will be another episode. We spawn new episode ideas while we do these episodes. But like the relationship of Gaga to New York and like how everyone knows she's from New York.
Right.
But like how now maybe that's like not as closely linked because she's not spotted there as much because she doesn't live there full time. And like how at this time, I think New York City was like, Gaga is ours. And like she is a New Yorker and she is like, we lift her up. We like praise her. She came from here. That's cool. We made her.
Right. Totally.
And maybe
the city loved her back in that way.
Yes, totally.
Okay, moving right along, let's talk about the opening because it's kind of funny. So on November 21st, 2011, Barney's held the opening of Gaga's workshop. Gaga cut the ribbon with stylized scissors, wearing Chanel custom gown, headpiece, bag, and jewelry with her much-loved custom-studded Noritaka Tatiana Lady Vase shoes. This look went viral again in 2024 as fans online tweeted photoshopped images of Gaga in this look at the Met Gala.
Yes, they did. And I do want to note she's wearing pearls around her neck.
Yes. Yes. The look is very Chanel. It's very quintessential, like tweed suit,
tailored.
Tons of pearls, fingerless gloves, Carl glasses.
Yes.
The glasses aren't Chanel. I forgot to put who they are, but they're a pair of glasses she wears all the time.
Yeah.
This kind of funky cat
She's
eye
not
square.
As freaky here.
Yeah. She's got like a funny little headpiece that's like very Chanel. The bag is super cute, but it is like a big hoop skirt. But it's like a take on a Chanel skirt suit where the hoop skirt has the like buttons all the way down.
Yeah.
The front.
I remember seeing this as a kid and being like, it feels like she's making a celebrity appearance.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Like she's cutting the ribbon at this thing.
Yeah, but
that's
you know
hers.
she has to like be somewhere tomorrow. The breakneck schedule of Born This Way. Like,
yeah. She
she's
just
gonna
like
be
popped in
like a slutty outfit and a teal bob tomorrow. Like, I don't know. It's funny.
Yeah, no, totally. And then there's a cute little photo of her snipping the ribbon, which has that Gaga cat suit illustration on it.
And they have these they made these like giant scissors for her.
That are like
with.
funny bees for Barney's. Yeah. But like in the colors of Gaga's workshop.
Stylized.
The opening was attended by the likes of creative director of Swarovski, Giovanna Battaglia, fashion designers Alexander Wang and Prabal Gurung, fashion model Carolyn Murphy, and notable enemy of the pod, Blake Lively.
Blake, if you're listening, turn this off. How do you block someone from a podcast?
I don't know, but if you know, you know. It's just like, of course, Blake Lively was there.
So weird.
Yeah.
I'm like, who?
Right.
Actually, I was just on a flight and someone like adjacent from me whose screen I could see was like watching some movie with Blake Lively in it, like some shitty like rom-com thing. And I was like, she's still around?
Unfortunately.
She got married on a plantation.
Yeah,
We've talked about
she's
this.
a bad person.
Yeah, listen. You know what? If I'm not even going to tell you, dig around.
Do your research.
Dig around.
It doesn't take long.
Why Patrick feels this way and why I feel this way as well. Go on.
So, Vogue said the following at the opening party. The workshop itself looked as if the North Pole gift factory had been transformed into a large-scale cabinet of curiosities, offering up limited edition exclusive products created by Gaga. Favorite items up for grabs included large wax candle replicas of Gaga's head, When Lit the Eyes Cry, melting wax, customized leather-bound copies of her favorite books by Roald Dahl, and, in the candy department, chocolate cookies in the shape of McQueen's Atlantis shoe collection. Simply stepping into the workshop is the grown-up equivalent of a kid's first visit to FAO Schwartz. So the fashion girlies were living.
Yeah, totally. When asked by Entertainment Weekly, Gaga described the experience as, quote, whimsical and fun with a sense of art and fashion. The experience was open to the public until January 2nd, 2012. They said, the holidays are over. Take this shit down.
Take this shit down.
Yeah. So what do we think about this in hindsight and in the context of Gaga's career now and since?
Yeah, I think it's just like, again, it's one of these things that some people are like, oh my God, Gaga's workshop. Some people are like, what? And
what was that? Yeah.
Yeah. And even people that are like Gaga fans. Like, I feel like for a multitude of reasons, some people don't like remembering things like this because they're like, oh, it's a cash grab, it's capitalist,
sellout shit,
it's rich people shit. And it's not those things.
Yeah.
But it's also whimsical through the lens of art and fashion.
Absolutely. It's still Gaga. It's still in the wheelhouse of like her entire career. Like we can't not acknowledge it. Like it's important in the lineage of her influence, not just like on culture, but on like a physical place that sells things. You know what I mean?
Well, and a
in
physical
her city.
place that sells things that's like kind of important in terms of like, it is a status symbol. And this is an early, I mean, at this point, let me preface this by saying that there were certain people in kind of these more highbrow art and design lines of work that saw Gaga from the beginning and were like, oh, I see you.
Yeah.
And then there were people that were like, oh my God, no. Like it wasn't too long before this that she was on like worst dressed lists.
Right.
And now Vogue is at this thing. All these fashion people in New York are there. Not because of Gaga, but there because it's like, it's Barney's.
Yeah.
It's a cosign in a way.
This is 2011, November, that she's opening this. 3 years before that, she's releasing Christmas Tree.
Right.
Like when you zoom out and look back like this, like at the time when you're in it, you're like seeing it all. It feels like so much has happened. She's appeared so many times. She's transformed so many times at this point. But it's been 3 years, a little over 3 years since the Fame debuted. So it's like her winning over some of those people doesn't necessarily bother me. And if anything, it just gave her fuel to like continue touring an album that she felt so passionately
And
about.
let's not forget that she has a contentious relationship with this industry not too long after this. Like
Right.
she kind of falls out of grace for a bit during art pop. I mean,
Yeah.
she becomes even more divisive in that kind of art
Absolutely.
realm space.
And I don't think that this is something that she would ever do now or like have the opportunity even to do now because the world has changed so much.
Right.
Like it's not that she's not still a superstar because she is, but it just, I don't know, everything moves so quickly and I don't know.
And again, think about a very Gaga Thanksgiving was Thanksgiving. This was November 22nd. Like it's like Troy and Vince are still there. Like it's this different machine behind her
Right.
where she was the first pop star of the social media digital age.
Yeah.
And it's like she does things like this. She does things like Farmville. Like she does things that age well and things that don't. She's kind of the guinea pig in that way.
10 days after this, she's releasing the music video to Marry the Night.
Right.
So that happened and I was like, what's Gaga's Workshop?
Right.
You know
it's
what I
like,
mean?
did Gaga's Workshop finance everything she wanted to do for the Marry the Night music video?
Right. I mean, probably.
Right.
Like, let's be real. But there were so many collaborators involved as well. It feels like when we were kids looking at this, we're like, it's Gaga, it's Gaga. Realizing that there are like 5 to 6 other major collaborators and just realizing that that's what everything is.
Right.
Like we're older now, like everything that every artist, celebrity, whatever does has like a lot of hands in the pot. And like, this isn't necessarily like representative of just her.
Right.
And that's okay.
Yeah.
You know? Well, this has been interesting.
Yeah. A little,
A Christmas pearl.
I like being a little studious and
Yeah.
going back and doing a little research
Yeah.
and, you know, digging through memories.
Right. Because if somebody on the street asked me what Gaga's Workshop was, I would give them like 2 sentences, you know, because I know. But like, this has been,
I would pull out my house keys.
yeah, a little bit of a deeper dive into that whole thing, which I've appreciated for sure. I feel like I was just a student. And recently I was on eBay because, I don't know, there could be a raffle in the future. And I just typed in Lady Gaga rare and a lot of these items come up because again, it was like you said, the website's doesn't even exist anymore. This was fucking 13 years ago.
And then we had a classic like Christmas story moment where it was like, wait, don't look at things on eBay from Gaga's Workshop because I'm going to get you something from Gaga's Workshop. And us both being like, we might potentially try to get each other the same thing.
Mine sold, so no promises. And actually, I texted Herman, your fiance, about something else. And he was like, he has that.
That's funny because that makes sense because he asked me out of the blue the other day about how many Gaga books do you have?
Oh, God. I'm like, could he be a little more slick?
Well, I thought he was going to buy me one. And that's why I was like,
it was something I was like, is in pristine condition. And I was like, interesting.
Well, thank you for listening to this episode of Chewing on Pearls. I hope you enjoyed it. It was a lot of fun to kind of outline and create. So thank you for coming along with the ride.
Yeah. Merry Christmas to those who celebrate and happy holidays to those who don't. And also nothing to those who don't do any of it.
Hashtag Gaga stars.
Yes. Hashtag Gaga stars forever. And you'll hear from us soon.
Bye.
Please let